I believe is that Taylor Swift is going after the entire music industry. She got rid of the middleman when it comes to film distribution, book publishing, owning her masters, etc. But the final bosses are Universal Music Group and Live Nation Ticketmaster. I flipped out when I realized that Taylor's Orange Door in Chicago was at MCA, which is the Museum of Contemporary Art, but also founded in Chicago is MCA, Music Corporation of America. And what you have to understand is the same mafia that started the music industry controls it now through their proteges. It was very interesting to see that there was a Yoko Ono quote on the front of the building saying, "Peace is power." John Lennon had a very interesting relationship with an affiliate of MCA whose name was Morris Levy, who ran Roulette Records. Much like JFK, John Lennon went straight after the mafia in this big court battle, and we also have continuity between John Lennon and his publicist, Elliot Mintz. Here they are back in the day. Modern millennials probably know Elliot Mintz as the publicist that was there that night that orchestrated this famous paparazzi shot, the Bimbo Summit. Mintz also served as Kevin Federline's attorney's publicist after Britney's conservatorship started in 2008. What the early 2000s it girls went through must have had a great impact on Taylor as she was coming into her superstardom. Here we have her as a orange bird in a cage in Look What You Made Me Do, which is hearkening back to Lindsay Lohan's video as a bird in a cage, complaining about the rumors started by the press and paparazzi, and she just wants to be left alone. MCA is so important in the history of Hollywood and the music industry, and it was known as the Octopus. It's kind of the OG Live Nation Ticketmaster insofar as how it dominated the industry. It was actually MCA buying Universal and Decca Records that gave us MCA Records and what came to be Universal Music Group today. Robert Kardashian was hired to run radio syndication at MCA Records in the 80s, and he even had a radio show called Breakfast with OJ for O.J. Simpson. He was hired by Irving Azoff, who is the one who oversaw the merger of Live Nation and Ticketmaster. The first band Irving got signed was with Roulette Records. When you get to Vegas's Orange Door, you walk out onto the street on Google Maps and you can see Planet Hollywood, where Britney had her first Vegas residency. You swivel your head and you see Park MGM, where she had a work strike so she didn't have to do another one. This is the end of The Fate of Ophelia, and you see Taylor in this little furry number. That's Aquamarine. This harkens to the promo for Britney's Work Bitch, which is the single that led up to the launch of her Vegas residency at the end of 2013. The furry aquamarine shawl is covering up this dress, which harkens to a dress she wore during the Eras tour. She wore it during the Fearless era, and fans would refer to it as the octopus dress. We'll get back to this window in just a second, but right after this window, we see this. We see Taylor in the bathtub in a fancy, glittery diamond outfit. Britney used this imagery in the Everytime video. As many times as I've tried to tell people, Britney was a mentor to Taylor. Taylor worked at her summer camps 2 years in a row. Taylor started out with Dan Dimetrout, who tried to screw her over and sue her for a bunch of money after she got successful. But before she signed a Big Machine, she was with him, and he was the protege of Larry Rudolph. Now, they both went to work for Live Nation, but right after Dan stopped working with Taylor, he was Kevin Federline's manager. Obviously, I have to mention the $1 million Victoria's Secret bra that Britney wore during her Vegas special shot in 2001. This view at the end of Ophelia is of the Science World Museum exhibit in Vancouver. Taylor Swift stayed at the Rosewood, which is like up here in the northeast west corner, and the view would be of Science World. And what's interesting is that today the lights at Science World are going to turn orange for World Octopus Day, and we have green before it and after it. And that's a beautiful bookend to me.